the minutes from August 1st, 2024. Motion to accept the minutes.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All in favor? No mail, no appointments. That's like 25 the other day. 2 whole months and so far.
Yep. So, with the, on your spreadsheet, you take a look at August. We had a plan of 268, and we came in at 315. And if you look at the highlighted sections, all the way to the right, year-to-date for the plan, those 2 months would be 591. We're at 643. If you go all the way down to the bottom, that is last year's July-August total of 640, so we're exceeded that. So we're currently sitting plus 52K. That's not too bad to start. It's good. We'd rather be up 52 than down 52. And as far as
The rounds are holding steady.
yes, yeah, the rounds are still there. I mean, we were just talking about that. The carts, the turns, we're out of carts by noontime, and coming to the meeting, all the carts are on the course, so they're doing 2 turns. They're all on the golf course. People are playing golf. We've got Old Colony out there. We've got leagues, and everybody's trying to get in 18 holes in between all those time frames that you can try and get bodies to make the turn. So it's busy. We're still cranking at 110%.
Not the interrupt, is he coming to gas tomorrow?
I think so, yeah.
Because you have a meeting, you got a outing Monday, right?
Yeah,
And one
yes.
Saturday, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I will confirm that to
Yeah, so the
make sure he's there.
It-
Yeah, we can
either
try.
it would be great.
So quick, but this
Yes.
is something I noticed right when I look at this year so far. I think just the carts
Yes.
seem much lower than last year. So just a difference in the way some of the things are
I
packaged in the.
was just telling Ed that I think with I'm noticing on weekends, I'm going to pay a closer attention to it to see where exactly it's transpiring. But when they're booked on golf now on the weekend, it's a $75 rate. So I'm thinking that as it's registering $75 and
That's
not,
rounded, not.
yes, and not breaking the
plus
two.
it, okay.
Correct. But when we, like if you were to call me and book a tee time for the weekend, I put it on and book it, and when it comes through and bills out, it's booked as round and
Plus the
cart.
cart, yeah. Okay.
So,
I figured with the total is still fine. It's probably just somewhat built into their side.
yes, I'll call them this week and see if there's a way to decipher that they can add, or we can separate those two to fall into the proper categories. And I did speak with the interim accountant and discusses with Ed real briefly. It's not official, but we fell in for the fiscal year at roughly $305,000, and they'll be finalizing the numbers over the next 30 days for getting the numbers prepared for the DOR certification. So that's forthcoming.
Any other questions on 25 year to date? Golf cart storage update.
Yes. So we are doing the golf carts in the pen over the evening, lockdown, setting up basically the original way that we've been doing them, setting them up in front of the pro shop. Customers come out of the pro shop, they can grab a cart there and grab their clubs or head down to the tee box if they're already prepared. So it's just, our guys are, Paul's 83 years old, he's out there limping around tonight. All the kids are back at school, so I mean, it takes a little bit more legwork, and it pulls the rangers off of rangering to assist the starter to bring carts out on a timely basis for the customers. But yeah, programs in place.
We got all the trash bags out of the pen.
Yeah.
So pile in there.
What's that? That's stuff that needs to be sorted. They gotta They should be putting that in the shed,
Okay.
but everything else, all the other stuff has been processed.
Then we have spray machine options. That's the next Steve.
Well, I think that's, basically, there's two options. You either purchase a new one or you, I don't want to call it upgrade, you refurbish the existing one. Norm and I sat down, put together a list of items that need to be addressed if we are going to refurbish the older sprayer. We sent that off to our rep at MTE, which is the distributor for Smithco, which is the sprayer we'd be renovating, and they're supposed to be getting back with us to us shortly with a price quote for parts and labor for the renovations that we sent to them as needing to have to be done. The other options, there's, is to replace the existing sprayer that we have now, basically a 2024 version of what we bought back in 2011 would be approximately 79,000. Same, that would be from Smithco, and that's a 3180 300-gallon tank. From Toro, it's about the same here or there. We did, if you remember when we ordered the triplex, the Greens triplexes, we had placed an order for a sprayer just because it was an 18 to 24 month out. Toro says that there's a possibility that that sprayer could be available in April. If you were to order one now, you're still looking at 18 months out. So Smithco has 131, or MTE has 13180, new sprayer. I don't expect that to be around too much longer as we get towards the end of the season, especially with those folks who are on a regular calendar year as opposed to our fiscal year. They're looking to make purchases and spend funds before the companies hit them with their price increases. Toro's price increases usually comes the 1st of November, and I think Smithco's and the rest are probably December and January. So those are the options. We're waiting to see what would come back from our request.
Smithco is 11 years old, right?
Yes. No, 13.
13 years
It was delivered 10 November 2011.
Correct.
So that's 13 years old, yeah.
So obviously a spray machine is a key machine. And you don't want it
Oh yeah, you don't want
breaking down.
You don't want to be without it breaking down.
But then again, if you can refurbish the Smithco similar to what we did for the John Deere, which was 26,000.
Yeah, I think you might be in that ballpark or maybe a little bit higher. The thing that would drive the cost of the Smithco up somewhat is the fact that the left rear brake and hub has to be replaced. If you remember, we did that a year or so ago.
6,000, I think.
About $6,000, which is the other things that would have to be refurbished is new pump, new hoses, new gauges, new thermostat. All those small things add up over time. So I don't want to guess at what their estimate is, because this is something that, as similar to what we did with the John Deere, they would come pick it up. Once I finished, our last spray will probably be a week or so before Christmas for the snow mold, and then they come pick it up in January, and then and they should have it back by the end of March, beginning of April.
How much was the new one you said? The one that could be 18 months?
About 79,000.
And that's still a year and a half out?
Well, like I said, Smithco's, they have, or MTE, I believe, has one. You might be able to get one from somewhere else. That's available now. Toro said there's a possibility that the sprayer that we ordered would be available in April of this
April.
year. Other than that, Toro is 18 months out. So like I said, yeah, it's a year and a half.
So we're
So
still,
you still have to do
we're still in the
something.
queue
Yeah.
for April, theoretically.
Yeah, theoretically, it depends on,
But at the same time,
availability.
we have not communicated that to the Board of Selectmen or the town administrator. So we're basically on the hook for that machine when it comes, unless we cancel it. So we need to decide what we're gonna do.
I would, at this point, we'll see what, within a week, they should be getting back to us. with
Right,
the
so
price quote.
our next meeting, we can
Make a
look at those
decision.
options.
All right.
I think it's worth seeing what the estimate would be to refurbish the other one and just, if it's gonna take, I'm just making this up, but if it's 60, we'll just spend 79 on a new one. But if it's 30, then maybe it's worth it. So
Right.
let's just see what they say.
Yeah, the one saving grace on this machine is a diesel engine, so the engine's in pretty good shape. It's just the other things, the boom arms and all that stuff that's been going up and down and up and down and on and off, and the valves I can tell that the valves are starting to go, because when you turn off the boom, the nozzles strip, and that means that the valve isn't closing all the way right when you want it to close, which in the end kind of wastes material.
So we'll put that on the agenda for the next meeting, hopefully.
Now we have Clubhouse Architect Preliminary Screening Committee. So it looks like we got eight or nine of these interested parties. Always submitted the proposal to us. They submitted 3 copies, so I did go and I took one of each and brought them home and read through them all myself already. The next step really should be is, as a committee or a group, as a consensus really, is to narrow it down to 2 or 3 that we feel, based on their written proposal, matches what we're looking for.
Yeah.
Because you can only communicate so much through paper. We had minimum qualifications that we asked for. My reading of each one of them, they all meet the minimum. They all do this work and probably all do what we needed. So it's really just looking at their relevant work, what they list in there, and do we feel it's a fit for what we think we're looking to do. And then at that point, we would have 2 to maybe 3 of them come in and then present in person to actually, verbally tell us, hey, this is what we've done in the past, this is what we envision for you, here's how we would approach even just seeing the feasibility. I think the numbers, we're not saying right now what we're still doing is it's inside of the feasibility of saying what could be done, what would they propose, and then that goes into, option A, anticipated cost of X, option B, anticipated cost of Y. We're just picking which vendor do we think we want to do that, so.
I spoke to Jamie about the process, how we could go about it. That's why I put a steering committee. He said you could be a steering committee of 1, which means you wrote the RFP, you review everything. You could come forward with a 3 recommended candidate. And I think that's a reasonable way to go about it.
Yeah, he's absolutely correct. You can have a committee of 1, you can have a committee of 5. It doesn't have to be
Right.
the whole committee, it's just, the option is there. And like I said, it's not like anybody's making a decision on a vendor based on one person. It's weeding these 8 or 9 down to 2 or 3. And to be quite honest, I think 2 or 3 stand out above the others in my reading of these 8 or 9 names. They're kind of the same thing, you look through them. And again, just based on, when I say 2 or 3 stand above it, they've done more specific golf projects. They've all done tons of municipal projects. They've done parks, they've done other things. But there are 2 or 3 that have done quite a few golf course work. So I think that for our needs, helps push them a little bit better, higher on the list. And let them come and tell us in person, what they did, how those projects panned out.
Then we'll kind of what they navigate to make it happen.
One of them, quite honestly, one of their references was, like an $8 million million clubhouse on Nantucket. I mean, it's not really not even relevant experience to what we're looking for, except that it shows that they have the expertise to work with something of that scale.
Did they show that they had the expertise to work at the other end of the spectrum?
Right, well, that's the thing. That's kind of where I'm torn.
So you got to look
because the other one they do.
500,000 to $1.5 million end.
Right, because actually they've all got a lot of work, and some of it's pavilions at parks, which might be, or actually, much closer to what we're looking for than the $8 million clubhouse in Nantucket, right? The pavilion's at a park, it's not the golf course, but it's still a park pavilion.
Right.
More closely, because that's what I'm saying, we want to look to see if their experience matches what we're looking for. So that is in there among these 9.
So we get down to 3.
Yeah.
Do we have the option to go see their work? You know, what I mean is go to say, all right, I built this one, like, more up-to-date work that they've done, not something that they done in 2000 or something like
Oh, they
that.
probably have that in there.
Dude, they have pictures of, a lot of them have pictures of,
They had to include every job they've done in the past 5 years as a minimum. So if you read through there, you're going to see work they've all done within the past 5 years.
Right.
Some of them chose to include work that's older than 5 years, but they had to include everything they've done within 5 years. And of course, anything exploratory that we would want to do, of course do. So even if we have to come in, we, along with the selectmen, might not even make a decision that night. It's like, hey, we really liked what you now said verbally, and when you said, John, if it's in, just make town X, where this is, maybe a couple of us just go and look at it and say, that really is kind of what we think, or just feeling out the work that they've done.
Pictures and writing is great, but there's nothing better than actually going and asking questions of, hey, what do you think of what they built?
Right.
You know?
The park
Yeah.
director, the golf director, at
Right.
those places and saying, okay, now that it is built, are you happy with what
Right.
came out? Right, that's all part of almost like the interview process and narrowing it down. And still, all that's before anything's committed monetarily with any one of these vendors. It's just a process to get to there.
like when we went and talked to Southern Marsh and asked the guy, what would you do different?
Yeah.
What did you think, what do you think you did right, what do you think you did wrong?
Right.
And having them lay out.
And it's always a great question.
Yeah, it was a great.
Because then they live with it. And they're like, hey, you know what, we would have really liked the carpet over here, I'm making that.
Right.
But once you see it, they went from on paper to building it, like, now that it's here, or there's no power here, there's no water there, something that they would have liked in hindsight, that, put your own mind going forward, so. So, just to get back to what, Steve was saying too, like, it's the $8 million thing, isn't necessarily relevant to us, so it's exactly what I was thinking.
It's not relevant, but I'd like to see them have the capability to do the 8 million, but also to do the 1 million, because that gives you an idea of their design capabilities and their thought processes that go into these things.
Absolutely, because some firms don't even want to do.
Right. Yeah, some places they don't want to do the small things.
Right. And we don't want that.
No, you're
we don't
right.
want someone constantly
And
trying to push
some
something.
places, and sometimes you might find the individual architect as opposed to the big conglomerate group that, has, 5 or 6 different architects working for them. And, you might, I don't know if you had any of those in there.
One in here it's a local architect, but already says that he's going to hire a sub-architect to do most of it, and that sub-architect is a nationwide company that does big things all over the place.
Yeah.
My place will show that that's, again, in my opinion, and I can tell by the look on your face, I don't think that's what we
Well, the deal, I'm sorry, but if you don't have confidence in yourself, then I'm not really interested in that. But
or anybody
the big
inside.
firm, I just have, again, I mean, if you ask most superintendents what they think about clubhouses, that should be where the bomb is dropped before, because it's just a big money pit. But I would want somebody who has the
It's kind of
ability.
ironic coming out of your mouth.
Believe me, you go to private clubs and the big clubs, that's where the money pit is. That large grinding sound that you hear is where all the money's circular down the toilet. But you want to have someone who can stand there and look at that, look at your circulation plan, and say, okay, no, this isn't Hyannisport. This isn't XYZ club. you know, question your clientele, see the type of people you have, the
Right.
type of things they eat. No, you don't want to cheap yourself, but you want to have the flexibility. I mean, you know, it's like going to some of the nicer, you know, some of the restaurants up on Federal Hill. You can go in there and you can get a decent Italian meal, or you can go in there and you can get an exceptional one in the same bloody restaurant. Because they're capable of catering to the different types. I mean, some people
Yeah, you
go
do
to
it
Italian
family style, or
restaurants,
you
they think
do it-
Italian food is spaghetti and meatballs.
Right.
You know, and other people go in and, you know, you have carbonara or something else, and they want something, you know, jagged.
Before we get too far down the road, I think we really think we need to bring the Board of Selectmen in on the process. They need to know what our next steps are. That we're gonna identify 3 candidates, make them aware of that, and see what kind of input they want.
Maybe the Board of Selectmen would like to have a liaison or individual representative who could report back to the Board of Selectmen. That way, trying to get all 3 of them on the same page at one time might be a difficult task, but you get one person to be the contact.
So I would like to make that motion. We have our chairman identify 3 candidates and present that to the Board of Selectmen as to what the next step will be.
All right, I agree with that.
All in favor?
I,
I still think, so there's 2 more copies of them out here, if you guys want to read through them, see what's out there, see what kind of, see if anything catches your eye, by all means. That's why there's 3 copies.
I think you did an excellent job putting the RFP.
Maybe John wants to read it.
you know what, I will read the 3 that you,
Okay.
okay?
Yeah, maybe
Because
that's
honestly,
the
right.
best one.
Yeah, I will read the 3. I mean, I'll take one this week, you know, and I'll slowly.
There's probably 3, yeah, not to diminish any of them, there's probably 3
Have
right
you,
off the top right now.
have you identified 3?
Read that one, if you like it.
I want to read them again.
Yeah, right.
You could read it during the Giants game.
I can't be disturbed.
I'm not gonna say it quite
Right.
yet, but this one right here is definitely one of the 3 I would pick.
Okay.
And then there's
So I'll read this one, bring it back, and then I'll get another one?
Yeah.
I'll do the top 3. I don't
I'll
wanna
have
read-
them, I'll have them at the
I don't
shop,
wanna
so
read
you
the
drop it
ones
off,
that,
yeah.
you know, the guys
We'll talk, and
ready to put
we'll
a
pick out
gas
the other
station
top
on
2 or
it.
3 that you wanna combine and check
All
out.
right, all right. Well, yeah, when I'm done, I'll just hand it to you, and then you give me the next one. Yep, okay, all right.
Jamie did indicate that we would like to see 3, so.
Yeah, no, I think that makes sense. And we have enough here to pick 3. So.
Yeah.
Secretary duties.
I put that in because I've been doing secretarial work for 30 years. And during the next reorganization, which should probably happen next time we meet, I'm resigning from secretarial duties, so we need to come up with a game plan.
And essentially, obviously, it's like the minutes, posting the meeting, stuff like that, correct? Assuming at some point the selectmen/finance committee will find a person for the 5th spot on the committee.
Yeah, what's up with that?
I have no idea.
Just-
They seem to be amiss about whether it's supposed to be someone from the finance committee
Right.
or how
Yeah, I heard
it's supposed
rumors
to be
about- Or it's
organized.
just gonna be someone they pick,
Right.
you know, or interview, like I went with Dave years ago, we had to go through an interview process with
Yeah,
the
right.
selectmen.
And with the,
I think that's a valid, I think an interview is not a bad idea.
No, it was
Yeah.
fine. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just that, you know, I thought it was the finance committee that had to be representative
No, I think,
on
was that
this
just the
board.
way we were doing it? Is that, It's not written down anywhere, it's just
That was the
a
question.
creature of habit.
I think it was written.
Was it?
At least in the very beginning, it definitely was set up as what the membership
Oh,
of this committee would be, such as.
Finance committee was be there to oversee.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. So how do we abolish that? I don't think we could do that. It'd have to be the selectmen that would say.
That was their
Yeah.
quandary as to whether to stay with that, because there's plenty of people who
Oh, I
have
guess it's
expressed an interest.
Well, yeah.
It's just whether,
It's up to the selectmen ultimately.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, well, I mean, we can't make a call on that.
Oh, no, it's not up to us. Alright. And then NGF report next step. So obviously since we weren't having, we're just gonna come today, I reached out to him to see what other days he's traveling an awful lot for the next few weeks. He suggested Tuesday, October 8th as a date that he could come. I mean, that's okay with me, I'm not sure if other
Yeah,
people would
okay.
certainly wanna make sure the selectmen and finance committee people would be interested or be available. At least if we think that date's okay, we can then try and maybe through Jamie or see if the selectmen are interested on, I know sometimes they have meetings on Tuesdays, I don't know if maybe it would be a good thing if it's on the
Yeah.
same day.
That's true. That way they'd already be on the
You guys are
schedule.
already planning to be here or wherever we do this, that way. You never know.
Good idea.
So if people think that that date's okay, I can get back to Richard and say,
But he prepared overheads.
most likely I'll
That was
confirm
part of the
that.
RFP, right?
Well, that you would give an actual presentation, so I'm assuming.
probably has a,
Yeah, so
what do you call those things?
go through the computer, right onto the TV.
Right.
Yeah. I
Right.
don't know what you call it, but that's what it is.
The
Yeah.
last,
Yeah,
PowerPoint.
yeah.
the last page of my handout, this on page 9 of the National Golf Foundation. It's kind of a summary statement. And somehow that, I would think, would be part of the presentation or overhead slides. It's the first one is like commit to completed capital projects for the next 5 years. Bunkers, car paths, pond, embankment, fairways, maintenance, building, upgrade, and the bridges, which I would put in. Then begin planning for large capital investments like a new clubhouse or the irrigation system, which Steve indicates is starting to crumble.
Well, you're getting to the point where you're going to start to have more incidences of major problems as opposed to minor fixes.
And we still got 578,000 due on our debts.
That's it.
Yeah, 3 more years.
Wow. Good.
And there's some type of law or something that doesn't allow that to be paid down quicker.
No.
Yeah, you can't
Can't
do
do
it.
But you said too, the last payment's like small, 50,000.
There's only two.
Two full payments?
2 big ones. The question is whether we would even consider taking on more borrowing until that's paid off. My opinion, I don't see it happening.
I don't see it happening, but I don't think, I agree that I would, if you have the capability to pay cash as opposed to borrow, and you have a necessity, I
Right.
would suggest
Well,
pay.
if interest rates are coming down,
Right now, we have
let the rates come
1.5.
down, right? Why pay now?
1.5 in
Free
reserve.
cash is 1.5. At the end of this year, it's probably be 1.7, I'm guessing, 1.8.
So you could split it, half, something, I don't know.
Right, yeah,
Half and
we
half.
should lock it down and say this is for
Yeah.
payment.
But that goes to making a presentation to the Board of Selectmen,
Right.
justifying what our game plan would be.
Right, it all ties into, you know, right, we might end up having to borrow some amount, but not the whole amount where we do have a healthy reserve. So, not that we're gonna spend all of that either, but
Right.
it's gonna be a combination of cash.
And
Right.
And then when you borrow, you don't make
Right.
the first payment for 1 year afterwards. Right, so if you borrowed right now, you don't make the bond payment until 1 year from right now.
Right.
So again, thinking about not wanting to double up in a fiscal year.
Right.
Right, it's not saying that we'd wait 3 years to borrow, it, and there'll be 4 years, so
Right.
the payment
Yep,
rate, so you back into that, right?
And even when you do, you don't want to go bone dry on your enterprise fund.
Oh, no,
Remember what we had,
Reserve.
Right,
way back when,
right, so
it
that's,
wasn't much.
We broke
We got down to
sub
what,
200,000? We broke sub 200,000.
We spend months trying to cut.
Yeah, remember we sit here and cut line items galore.
Right.
exactly, that's why, so there are things that we can knock off that are large relative to like their annual budget, but not large that we want to borrow for. That's
Right.
exactly what
Yeah.
it's for. Take cash, don't borrow, and, make the investments that we can.
I agree with that.
So they're gonna be long-term investments, to get a lot of years out of it.
But most of the National Golf Foundation's prediction showed no interruption to our play. It's something like a car paths, redoing car paths, which they estimated like 400,000 to 700,000. When are we gonna do that? You're gonna shut the place down or what?
Well, you would do them all at once, right? I mean,
I don't know.
and I kind
That's
of,
what
I
we
was
need to
thinking,
put a plan
right,
together.
and I was
The
thinking
thing-
during the construction process with the area that we have, we could always go left near the cot pen and take them down to the
Yeah,
first
you
street
can-
rather than staying
You
right
can
through the
create,
work area.
Yeah.
you can do particular projects and create appropriate circulation.
Yes.
Obviously, you're not going to try to bite off the whole chunk,
No.
because you don't have the resources to do it. Some clubs will, once they get their ducks in a row, they'll close for 2 or 3 months. You can't do that.
No.
So what you want to do is you want to pick the projects that can be worked around the easiest first and get those done even with play, and then the ones that can't be worked around easily, you have to put those in the end of November, or the beginning of
Yeah.
March if it's not too wet, so you can get
Typically,
them
the
out
way
of the
you've been
way.
doing it thus far, right? I mean, we pick the off-peak season, we tackle the projects we can, and we work around and
Yes,
prioritize.
you just
what we
have
got.
to, you just have to pick them. I don't, and again, you have to determine what you're capable, if you're talking something like cart paths, you have to determine, how you're going to go about doing it. If the DPW is allowed or permitted to assist you at certain times during the year, that's going to be a significant cost savings. You farm the cart pass out to be done at prevailing wage, because you're not going to put too many cart paths in for less than $5,000, depending on the length. And you can't separate them. You can't say, oh, the second hole is this, the first hole is that, because they'll come back at you and say a cart path's a cart path, and it all comes under the same price. So you have to figure that in.
Dig it up.
Yeah, well, that's, and the other thing, you have to, who you're going to have come in and do it. You've got, for most of these cart paths, you've got tree removal. That 18th cart path, you can see nobody uses the cart path on the 18th hole anymore. They drive in the rough on the left-hand side of the cart path because the tree roots make the cart path impassable. I came down there with a sprayer today. I had to go like mile to 2 miles per hour because the thing is just bouncing off. I mean, you got
Which one is this? What cop path is that?
18 on the right side, right past the bunker. I mean,
Yeah.
You can see it. You can see the wear pattern because nobody drives on it.
I haven't been out there in a while, and I was driving down to get closer to the pins, I'm like, holy cow, I thought we just redid this thing. It's
No,
insane.
we did it, but, so, yeah, in answer to that question, that's a big number, but it really needs to be broken down into the primary ones and get those out of the way individually, depending on the size of the project and the amount of time.
Is that something that we could possibly approach, maybe a local vendor for donations and assistance?
I don't know, I'm not familiar with how donations and assistance work, and,
We're
speaking
questioning,
about
all right.
municipality and how all that stuff goes, because, I mean, talking about a clubhouse, you got plenty of folks who play golf there on a normal basis, who are electricians, who are carpenters, who do roofing.
Our whole clientele is.
You could have a whole
that's their
group of
lifestyles.
people. I mean, I know you couldn't do it in the municipality, but you could have a for lack of a better word, an old Amish barn raising. You know,
True.
you get your design, I mean, you know, these guys do this have done this for a living. You know, designs, construction materials, this, that, and the other thing, and, you get the grill out and, stoke it up and start, pour the foundation and get moving. But heaven forbid you try to do that in the auspices of a municipality, you just won't, I don't think you can do it.
You're right. We,
Actually, we just planned
resume,
that.
we barter like crazy.
Right, yeah, well,
It's
why
private
not?
course.
Why not?
So you got people with their-
If you can, why not?
I love my family, a year of golf, I went over.
Sure.
Knock yourself out, what do you, all right, pay the parking lot, okay. You just pay for material.
That's it.
With this, you can't,
No.
your hands are tied.
When we get up to the next meeting, so we just planned that October 8th for now to be the next meeting?
The selectmen's meeting room, it has the planning board on it every other Thursday schedule. So our next scheduled is either September 12th or the 26th. October 10th or the 24th.
Yeah, if you're doing Thursdays. But you said.
If you do it on Thursday.
He said Tuesday.
Yeah,
Well,
he's coming in.
The national golf, Richard Singer said he could come Tuesday, October 8th.
Well, if you,
I can check with Tanya to see what's available.
you said, when was the Thursday availability in September?
12 and 26
12 and 26. Yeah, and
next week.
Yeah, the 12th is like next week.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, you could, if you could get somewhere that week of the 17th, if you had any need to prepare for Mr. Singer, that'd be the best time. If you can make that October 8th work.
So do you want to pick another date for a meeting other than October 8th, or just go with this for now? I don't think, is there a need to have anything in the next 2 weeks anyway? Probably not.
No, we're packed with outings, Stephen and I, for the next month. Till the 26th.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah, the next 3 Mondays, the next 3 Thursdays, plus the weekends. So, I mean, there's really, of the things we discussed tonight, unless something comes up, there's really not much that would require us to be earlier than the 8th. Just as, the 8th gives you plenty of time to get everybody coordinated, and spend, the first 45 minutes on a regular meeting, and then the last 45 minutes on the National Golf Foundation presentation. Or spend the whole thing on the National Golf Foundation,
Yeah.
or whatever.
Exactly, that's right. All right, so let's just go with that for now then. I'll talk to Richard tomorrow, make sure that the 8th was okay. If you can maybe just check with Town Hall and make sure that the 8th
Yeah,
will
right.
be available for somewhere.
Can we meet on the 26th to get your recommendations on the clubhouse?
It's Thursday, the week before, 2 weeks before, basically.
Meet on the three reports.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so go away for 2 days, but I'll be back by then, yeah.
September 28th,
26th.
26th.
That's a Thursday?
Yeah.
here, 4:30, right?
Yeah.
Right. And then a week and a half after that, we'll have the
So
October.
we'll have the costs on the spraying machines.
Yeah, we should have that, hopefully I get it by the end of next week.
Clubhouse architects.
And we'll be closing in on the end of September, so we'll know where we stand with our sales.
Is Acushnet Fire Department's thing full?
I don't think it's full. I think he's looking at about 100, I think is where he's at.
Call me up looking for
Yeah.
donations.
So he's trying.
I
Say first, I mean, we're doing Somerset Fire for the first time next week. Acushnet's right after them,
Yeah.
next week after them.
Well, the Bedford's after.
And New Bedford is after them.
New Bedford's
The
always
Bedford's on a
here.
Thursday,
Yeah.
the 19th.
And I've been recruiting the Fall River Fire Department. They've never come. And I suppose I think they got booted, or they left the place at the Fall River Country Club that they've been hosting it for 20-some years.
Oh, really?
But I don't have any space for them, so they can move on.
There you go.
Yeah, I tried
Easy
for 20
decision.
years to get them, they wouldn't come. Now that they're hurt, they want to come and pop up. Sorry.
All right, so we got a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion.
Second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good night. Thank you.